Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Parks Trust and Open University podcast. Today's episode is all about how we, and particularly the older people in our community, engage with the natural environment. I'm Ellie from the Parks Trust, and with me today are Dr. Jitka Vseteckova, Senior Lecturer in Health and Social Care, and Dr. Yoseph Araya, Senior Lecturer in Ecology and Environmental Sciences, and they're both at the Open University. That's based in Milton Keynes, and that's where I work at the Parks Trust. The Parks Trust is a self-financing charity, and we care for over 6,000 acres of green space in the new town of Milton Keynes in the UK. And we're all about empowering local people to get out and about exploring the parks, so they can access the well-being benefits that we all know await us when we step outside. We offer a wide variety of community events to engage local people from different walks of life, and we host activities across the city in parks adjacent to where people live, in hopes of removing some of the barriers to getting outdoors that some people face. We're lucky in Milton Keynes because we have so much green space on our doorstep. However, everyone can access the same well-being benefits of the great outdoors wherever you live, even if it's an inner city location. Yosef, can you tell us a bit more about urban green spaces and how even they can benefit us?
Okay, thank you, Ellie. Good to meet you all. Now, urban green spaces, by their very nature, mean recreations of nature in residential areas, in towns where people live. Now, throughout history, what has happened in the evolution of human history was we are specializing and having less and less people depend in the production of our exact dealing with nature compared to people getting to move to live in urban areas. Now, this has meant a certain disconnect had developed between people and their evolutionary needs for nature, as well as getting to do their modern way of life. So, in fact, it has been like since the 1840s, at least in the UK, green spaces have been championed for the public, basically with recognition to awareness of the benefits they provide to engage with nature. And they have been pushed to become free and accessible for all. Now, even the design has evolved, like from open spaces which imitate countryside, we have now having parks with features like woodland, waterworks, lakes, among others. And these services are provided by green spaces as natural ecosystems. Now, they do have benefits. For example, urban trees provide shade, provide food, provide refuge for birds, and also they provide economic resources. For example, the timber can be useful. And like in Milton Keynes, we have our parks which are grazed by sheep. So there are various environmental benefits. But not only this, there is also aesthetic benefits, as a source of inspiration, community gathering, and mental well-being. And these are associated, in fact, with an overall reduction in mortality. I mean, it is a huge statement to make, but the closer people are to green spaces, the more likely to be healthy. And, some aspects could be from the physical level. For example, cardiovascular activity due to walking or exercising or playing outside would help people's health. Or it could be emotional level as well. For example, sitting in a park, relaxing can help reduce stress levels. For example, listening to the local birds. And also, from a social point of view, it could be a venue where there could be other activities to cater for our emotional needs and community. Now, all these benefits urban green spaces provide, they actually work across the whole of society spectrums, not only economic, but also age, and also for all people of all backgrounds.
Thank you so much, Joseph. This is such an interesting overview, and there are a few things you've mentioned that I kind of did not realize about the parks and spaces. And hello, Ellie, it's great to working with you again. I will just add that from my perspective, engaging with nature and especially green spaces is long known way to foster better health. So for everyone, just as Joseph said, from intergenerational appreciation of grandparents walking their grandchildren to carers taking care of their loved ones. We have, with colleagues at the Open University and with the Parks Trust, we have already published and released several podcasts and open learn articles around how walking is beneficial and walking the parks with the Parks Trust, where we discussed with Ellie the project that we're working on collaboratively. How walking outdoors and staying mindful is great for us. What are the benefits of walking and talking, and impact of walking and socializing through 5 Ways cafes. And we also already co-produced other articles around walking outdoors. Why is it so good to prevent fast decline that is sometimes associated with aging? And how to boost our brain functions and our memory while staying outdoors. So I will not be talking to this in much detail because you can find these articles on the OU and the Parks Trust YouTube channel and also on Open Learn. In the recent times, we have seen with the pandemic that the use of urban green spaces has soared, and the appreciation of the multi-purpose function, as Joseph has just mentioned, that they're not only for engaging with nature, appreciating sights and views and fresh air, but also as a community space, as outdoor gyms, community gardens, and work or religious services meetings. But we have also seen a rise in focus on carers and their health and well-being, which is so needed when supporting and taking care of their loved ones. So for many people, caregiving can be a beneficial and rewarding role. However, there are many aspects that we need to be aware of caring for someone with additional physical or some psychological needs that sometimes can be stressful. And it is well established that carers sometimes do not prioritize their own physical and emotional needs. So, kind of supporting the carers getting into the parks with their loved ones is an amazing venture. And it's been amazing working with the Parks Trust so far, because this is what the 5 Ways Cafe events are also about inviting people who live with or without dementia and their carers and engaging all together with nature and with one another during these 5 Ways Cafes events. It is also quite evident these days that this lot is known about the benefits of exercising on our mood, mental and physical health and well-being. However, there has been a little bit less research on how healing it is to actually spend time outdoors using the green and blue spaces. One of the key ways of maintaining our well-being is having the opportunity to leave the house and just spend time outdoors. This could be also while doing a little exercise as well. And that can include walking, because the exercise doesn't need to be strenuous to actually benefit us. It can be just walking and perhaps socializing at the same time. More about how spending time outdoors could enhance our mental health and well-being can be also seen in our article on green and blue spaces, where we talk about how beneficial it can be to simply stay in the presence of nature, and that natural settings have been found to regulate physiological functioning by decreasing stress responses such as heart rate and blood pressure. So there are many ways in which we can engage, and my colleague Joseph will tell us a little bit more about this now.
Thank you, Jitka. Definitely, the benefits of engaging with nature are immense. In fact, as you mentioned carefully, that not all benefits are always conscious. In fact, for example, going for a walk and engaging with nature, there could be a lot of subconscious engagements. For example, think of the sounds and smells in natural spaces. this has established benefit in reducing stress, and they have been helping people improve. So there is a lot of that goes on by being engaging in nature, and such natural soundscapes, for example, have been known to be so useful that we even have them in offices, on computers and digital devices as well. And also there is a physical feeling of nature. For example, stepping on various types of texture of ground can have benefits, and the various elevations and gradients also have a physiological impact as well. So indeed, the health benefits are well established. But going back to what Jitka was indicating, like for example the 5 Ways Cafe, some of these engagements could be well organized social events, not only the casual independent going out in the park as well, for example to walk a dog. What the key benefits for such events are is that they cater to the social element, and also helping people engage with each other, keep their connections, and so the benefit even multiplied. But going back to making such engagements with nature more meaningful and more purposeful will actually help people to engage even more with nature. For example, to have a deeper relationship. For example, a recent study done shows that even going out and taking pictures of nature as the things change seasonally, and also record their observations or touch objects, can have an enhanced benefit on the people who are being engaged. Also, I mean, why not add some sort of learning on it? From my line of work in nature conservation, we are very interested in how much species there are, recording is done, behavior of organisms, whether it's plants or animals. And while people are out, they can also record that, and they don't also have to do it in their own locality. For example, we are lucky in Milton Keynes with all the parks trust facilities available. It's quite enjoyable and there is more to see. But imagine you would like to see somewhere else as well. And in this, the Open University has also a program called iSpot, which helps people create an online community of nature observers. So for example, you might be able to share what you saw, and they could help you identify and learn about it, and also to try to find new things people have seen elsewhere as well. So in that sense, as the observations field, it helps people like me who are into nature conservation on what can be done and how trends are changing, and if we need to introduce some management. But also it helps the people who engage, deepening their relationship with nature and feeling that they're also helping us and all at the same time in looking after our green spaces. So there is a lot that goes into engaging with nature across various contexts and people and age groups, and that makes it an excellent example for a societal benefit as well.
Yeah, that's right, Yoseph. We're quite lucky in Milton Keynes, particularly at the Parks Trust, because we have so many opportunities for people to get out and about and explore the great outdoors. And we're not really alone. Lots of other service providers are realising the benefits of the great outdoors that we've spoken about today. And more of these localities are developing exciting activity programmes, lots of which are free or accessible to anyone, because people don't want there to be any limits to what you can do outdoors. It's there for everybody to enjoy. But yeah, the Parks Trust, we have a massive programme. So if you're interested in any kind of outdoor activity, then there's something for you. We have loads of different parks all over the city. So you can always get out and about and explore a new area with us. So why not come along to a discovery stroll, for example, where you can discover a new park you might not have been to before. It's with our knowledgeable staff and volunteers who will make you feel safe when you go out and about and explore somewhere new. Or if you have a dog, you could join in on a woof walk with other dog owners and get to know some people with similar interests to you, whilst exploring the outdoors at the same time. Or perhaps you're interested in wildlife, but you'd like to know a little bit more about it locally. Then perhaps you could attend one of our talks with our outdoor learning team. And then maybe you could set out on your own and try to observe what you've learnt about. Or you could pick up on the iSpot app and start documenting what you've come across. Or maybe you're a runner and you want to try out some new routes. Or you want to set up a new activity in your own area. Well, we can help you with that as well. And we're not alone. You know, lots of other local authorities do similar things to us, to our charity. But for some inspiration, you can have a look on our website, which is www.theparkstrust.com. Or you can email us about different opportunities and we can tell you a bit more. And that's info@theparkstrust.com. So as we've spoken about today, it doesn't have to be something big, but taking notice and keeping active can really contribute to your sense of personal well-being. And that's true of people of all ages. So going outdoors really is brilliant for us all round. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. I'd like to thank both Dr. Jitka and Dr. Yoseph for their time and for joining on the podcast today. If you want to find out more, you can visit the Parks Trust or Open University websites and our joint podcast channel on YouTube. We've provided lots of links in the panel below.